Folks, so here is 2,000 points of Tyranids. So I'm running the Crusher Stampede again, bringing a few different units, just trying to switch it up. I like the variety, and I just did my tactic video as on Octarius. I'm working on the Crusher Stampede one next, but a few combos in there that I talked about, and I said I would run it in my next game, so I'll stay true to that. So it's 2,000 points, Leviathan, Crusher Stampede. In my HQ slot, a bit of proxying for the weapons here. I just need to get them painted up. But my Warlord Tyrant is this guy. So I went with Alpha Beast, getting me an extra Warlord trait. So I took Strategic Adaption from the Leviathan table. Then I took Rampaging Beast for the D3 extra attacks on him. T.Sacs, Adrenal Glands. He also has Murderous Size. I took the Synaptic Hive Blade, so I'm going to be doing some hunting with him. As well as just a set of monsters running claws to keep him cheap. For powers, he took the 4-up invul and the extra D3 attacks from the Tyranid power. So decked out. Then my other Tyrant, he just has 2 sets of monsters running claws. He has Adrenal Glands and T.Sacs, just for a little extra damage output, and Biomorphic Carapace on that guy. So he's just there to stay alive. For powers, he had, I believe it was, I have to double check here, Onslaught, and I think the Horror, I have to double check, or it might have been an extra Catalyst. I'll review that. But then on this guy, though, we have Paroxysm and Catalyst. Then moving into my troop slot, we have 9 warriors right here. They have Deathspitters, Bone Swords, and Venom Cannons, kitted exactly as you see. 3 units of MSU warriors, 2 of these guys have Bioweapon Bond, and then these ones are proxying as just with the double sliding talons. Just nice where I can identify quickly who has the Bioweapon Bond or not, so the Lictor Face dudes. Then we have 8 Raveners. So I'm most excited about these guys. I'll probably do a tactic video just summarizing some of the changes with the most recent update. The weapons on these guys are free, so definitely giving them a run. They're pretty cheap for their points. They're kind of act as Gene Stealers of the Crusher Stampede, so really excited to see how they fare. And then Bioweapon Bond may just come into play with them as well. These are the guys I talked about that I'm going to run. I haven't ran them since Octarius, I'm pretty sure of that, but I did bring the Synaptic link. They have Psychic Scream as well, so I'm just hoping to slam a ton of mortals out and really maximize their output. So really excited just to get these guys back on the table. Then we have an Exocrine, a Moloch. My Trigon is proxying as him. I am going to eventually buy a Moloch, but I'm just waiting for the Codex that is coming before I make any Tyranid purchases, just to kind of see how things look. And then I have a Harpy with Stranglethorn Cannon. That's it for 2,000 points of Tyranids.
All right, we got 2,000 points of Salamanders coming in. For my HQs, I have Captain and Gravis armor with a Relic sword, giving some a little bit extra damage. And I got a Librarian, just a basic Librarian. He's got his Drake skin and Fire Shield. I also have an Agent of the Imperium. I have a Vindicare Assassin. Hopefully do some damage to those pesky warriors. For my troop choices, I got 4 full 10-man squads. I got 2 TAC squads, both with missile launchers, bookending them. I got intercessors with the auto bolt rifles, 10-man squad of infiltrators. For my elites, I have a squad of Flamestorm aggressors. I have a 5-man squad of Terminators. And then for heavy sport, I have Eradicators, Devastators with 2 las cannons, 2 plasmas, and a Predator with 4 las cannons. Fast attack, 3 suppressors, and a drop pod. Plan is to drop the drop pod down, hopefully block some lanes off. Have the Terminators come down turn 2 or 3, mop up. We'll see how it goes. All right, Salamanders, 2,000 points.
All right, everyone, we are playing Tide of Conviction from the GT 2022 pack, the Nachmund pack. I can't remember the exact name of it. But it's our first mission with the new pack on the channel, so super excited. There's so many changes and everything. Before we talk about the mission, though, big shout out to our patrons for all their support. Teos and Brian, thank you for your continued support of the channel and the growth of improving the content and display of everything here. As well as you can become a named model in one of the armies. I don't have them here today, but they are the Teos Rippers and Brian the Barbed Hero Duel, so he's featured quite a bit. So looking for some perks like that to get involved in our battle reports and also get engaged with our Basement Wargame community, check out the link in the video description below, as well as if you enjoy these custom objective markers from 3D6 Wargaming, you can grab yourself a pair. Hit the link in the video description. It's an affiliate link and it helps support the channel. So the mission is Tide of Conviction. So this sees 6 objectives on the table. Deployment is 10 inches up on the long side, so 10 inches there, 10 inches there. And it's a hold 2, hold 3, and then hold many. And then the mission, the second primary with this one, which is the big change for these new missions, is holding the opponent's objectives in their zone. For the first, second, and fourth turn, or first, second, third, and fourth turn, you get 2 points for these objectives. Then at the end of the game, you get 2 for each objective you hold over. That way. Or just the main one. Just the main one. Okay.
No, the main one is 4, the others are 2.
Main one is 4. So that is a big deal because the main home objective, you have to control that to get your Battleforge CP at the start of each turn. So stealing that does see some value there. So in terms of terrain, if you're not familiar with the Basement Wargame terrain we have here and you're just tuning in for the first time, quickly cover everything. This is just obscuring, scalable. These are just standard runes using the rules from the rulebook. So all that good stuff. This little section here is obscuring, as well as over on this side. From here up and over is obscuring, and then this just true line of sight, same fashion of this crate to keep it semi-balanced. So now we're going to roll off, find out who gets to pick the deployment zone, and see who is going to our tray here, and see who is going to pick the deployment zone, and then find out who's going first after that. So we'll just roll here, green, so 1 to 3. So Tyranids get to pick, pretty balanced side, but we'll come back after deployment is done. All right, so I chose this side. We've gone ahead and deployed. So looking at my deployment, I got my Zoanthropes over on this end. You'll see their ideal target in just a moment with the warriors right there. Just tighten them a bit. They should be within there too. But and then those warriors are bioweapon warriors along with the Hive Tyrant right here, the biomorphic Carapace one. I did check his powers. It is Onslaught and the Horror. Just taking some extra ones here in case anyone does any advancing or anything like that. Then we have my big warrior blob right here. The Harpy, super killer tyrant right there, Swarmlord tucked in with some warriors, bioweapon warriors. Then we have Raveners right here, 3 warriors, Exocrine right here. Moloch is in the tunnel. Then we have the Vindicare hanging out up top, Devastators, Eradicators, so heavy units on this side, as well as the Predator. 5-man unit there. These guys have combat squad with the Librarian right here. 10-man intercessor squad. 3 suppressors. One's getting repaired right now. And then infiltrators here. So they combat squad it to move forward. So there and there forward, holding the objectives right away. And the aggressors on this side. And then in teleport, we have the captain, Terminators, and then in a drop pod is the other tac squad, if you're wondering whereabouts they are. So that is it for the setup. This marker here is just to represent the center of the table since we have investigate. Oh, I didn't even say the secondary, so that's probably important. We'll cover that now. So I went with engage, banners, and to the last. I really couldn't decide on my third one. He didn't have many characters. Or I could have got at most, well, I guess 10 for that, which might be doable. But there is a lot of bodies on the table. So I went with banners. I should be able to throw up 2 quite healthily and keep them going nice and easy, no problem. Ideally putting up some more as the game goes on, but getting 2 at least is going to guarantee me a decent chunk of points. And for the Salamanders, they went with Oaths and Investigate Signal, so really focusing on the middle. The middle is a very weird spot, some good fire lanes on both sides, so my Exocrine can slam some shots right up into there, or play the little waiting game. As well as the third one is no prisoners, was it? No prisoners, yeah. So lots of bodies, well, lots of multi-wound bodies on my side of the table. So that's it. We're going to roll off now and find who's going first. We have 2 Patronic dice available as well. So Brian, Patron, we each get 1 dice to roll at any point in the game. It'll be filmed, even though we do the recap style. We do capture these special moments on camera because it adds to the excitement. So we'll find out who's going first in our first GT 2022 pack. Ooh, tie. 4, 2, a 1. So Tyranids will go first. I do have some redeploys to do as well. So we'll see this. It's very interesting because for the previous GT pack, it was always the Salamanders going first against me. But we're going to kick it off here and start winning our first turn rolls. So we'll jump into Tyranids turn 1 after we do a couple redeploys. All right, so we've done our movement. Old Flyboy moved over this way. So what happened with redeploys, just to cover that section, redeployed over here so he could get his full movement to get over. The other redeploy is the Raveners were redeployed onto this side. I moved and advanced them with the Flyrant, with the Onslaught power, so big risk there. I've got to get that off or else they will not be charging. Zoanthropes got just enough charge so they can see the aggressor over on that side. So we'll get a smite coming in this way, but even if I kill one, this Tyrant can't smite, but he's just wanting to get out of deny range and hold down that flank. Banner was raised here and here. Exocrine moved forward to challenge the Eradicator, so hopefully he can take them out. Some transhuman likely going to be coming to play over there, and we'll see if they can stay alive or not. Otherwise, it's going to be a ton of damage coming into my poor Harpy. Harpy obviously is going to be character hunting that fella. And the Murder Tyrant and Swarmlord moving this way to play off one another. And then these guys just moving forward to retake this objective from the sneaky fellas going up the middle. And with Synaptic links as well. They were Synaptic linked. They also got +1 to their ballistic skill and weapon skill, the rapid adaption stratagem at the start of the game. And the Raveners were buffed as well with Synaptic links. So +1 to hit on both warriors and them. And the Zoanthropes buffing themselves with the psychic power. Now in hindsight, I should almost do with him because I need that charge to go off. But we're hoping for max damage coming through. So we'll move into the psychic and shooting. All right, so shooting is done. So took out a bunch of intercessors over this way. I killed 6 altogether. 7 altogether. So they took a big hit. Exocrine, I didn't pathogenic slime. Only killed off one guy there, unfortunately. The transhuman there. And I knew that was going to happen, the transhuman. So I was kind of hoping they would transhuman because I really want to do some damage on the intercessors because I want to clear things away that are going to land in the middle and. So the Tyranid trickery. So some charge is going to be coming up now, and the fire taking those guys out was a combined might of a few warriors that I moved over this way that could see through. The Raveners, fantastic. I love the Death Spitters on there. If they didn't ignore the AP -1, it would be huge. This guy firing in, getting to make some use of the rerolls helped a bit, and that was it. And then the Synaptic Hive Tyrant, Synaptic Hive Blade Tyrant moved up there with Swarmlord launching him in. So we're going to move into some charges now. So going to be a big fight phase coming up. So a lot of attacks going to be coming through. But for the Salamanders as well, I always feel like the board looks skimpy, but then there's some big units that turn 1 units are going to come and reinforce, as well as those heavy Terminators and the Captain coming in as well. So we'll come back after the fighting and see how folks. So the turn is done. So there's lots of damage being dealt out to everyone. The Hive Tyrant jumped in. We'll start with him. He took up the tank and it exploded, doing tons of wounds. Everyone did 1 to him, 1 up here to the Harpy because it's a 6-inch range, and then he charged the Vindicator, slammed into him with breakthrough and took him out. Then these guys lost half a guy. They lost a guy. I say they, them. He took a wound, and then these guys lost another one as well as the Devastator's taking half a wound. Now the story here is I was fully expecting to be completely dominant in the middle. These guys holding strong, so 2.5 guys still alive in there, taking 2 or a wound in return. Over this way, there's still 2 guys fully alive and killed one of my Raveners. So really poor on the wound rolls and some nice saves coming through for the Salamanders, as well as the Predator overwatched him on the way and got 2 hits and 2 wounds, but I made both my 4-ups. That could have been a huge difference maker right there. But now it's time for Salamander's turn. Like I said, the board looks a little slim for them, but they got reinforcements coming in the form of the drop pod this turn, as well as the Terminators to pop in and help stem the tide here and retake some of the ground. So we'll move into Salamander's turn 2 and come back after that. All right, so Salamander's movement done. So just going to put a question out to everyone. So just the first few games getting the drop pod here. We weren't 100% sure if you could shoot through it if it counts as like a solid block, because the way we've been doing it, and we could be wrong with this, but the flaps, we don't count them as like having to be, say, like 3 inches. It's like just the actual, like, the outline of the model there. So the Exocrine, the intent here was that the drop pod came down. The flaps go down, obviously, because it looks way cooler. These guys are all placed in such a manner that way so the Exocrine can't shoot them. We're going to play it that way. I'm okay with that because it's just a weird area. But if you're familiar with what the actual ruling is, I'm sure I could quickly Google it, but we're just going to go with that and move along. So the Eradicators over this way moved advance this to be protected from the Exocrine. They will be taking the -1 hit, but it's worth keeping their lives alive and getting +2 damage against the old Flyer here. They got to take him out as he's not controlling that objective anymore, as there's troops here on the other side. Heavy guys moved around again. They'll be at the -1 to hit, but it's worth it to come around and blast the old Tyrant. Then over this way, the Intercessors, the auto pass, 2 CP being spent for them. The Librarian, attack Marines moving forward this way. These guys in here pass morale, so we're still with them. As well as on this side, these guys pass morale. Unfortunately, though, the aggressor ran on a 6 for morale, so he had to take the Sergeant out, or else there would have been an extra smite coming in this way from that Tyrant, so just had to pull the models that way when the damage came through. That's it, though, for movement. So, like I said, the Salamander's not out of it yet, as the reinforcements have come down, and again, hopefully if these guys can clear some stuff over this way, they are an OBSEC unit coming around and holding that objective, even at the end of the game, is worth quite a bit of points. So we'll move into Psychic and Shooting as we got the Librarian there. All right, so a bit of luck if you're a Salamanders fan here. So the Hive Tyrant could be taken out. Some very decent rolls coming from the Devastators, Eradicators. At the Hive Tyrant, he's down to 4 wounds. Harpy's down to 2, but that's it for, well, potentially there could be some more shooting coming at him. But the story is we got a missile from the drop pod that came in. He hit, he wounded. I failed my invul. I rolled my invul with a CP and failed. We're going to use the Patronic Power Brian. For the damage roll, there is a CP available for the reroll as well. So it needs a 5. Oh, Patronic Power. Bam. Coming through. So patrons, support your...
Was that Brian?
Yeah, that was Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
But now I'm going to roll and see if I blow up, because it'll hit a bunch of your guys inside.
That's okay.
Should be funny. Oh. No. What it is. So, Tyrant, down. He did his job, though. Killed the Tyrant. I still have it. All right. So, the Harpy lives. Suppressors fired at him, making 2 of my invuls. So, big deal there. Now, he's mulling over right now. Do the Devastators or Eradicators charge up? Try and finish him off and get a nice position as well. So, just be some gravy. However, not killing him will be a very bad thing. So, do you know what you want to do? Or are you going to...
Yeah, the Devastators.
They're going to go for it. Okay, so it is a 5-inch charge just to make it up the wall. So we're going to capture it. And they're up. And no other charges, I think, happening for them. So we're going to come back after the fighting and see how it looks. So we got 2 ongoing battles here. Raveners and these guys. They have also been buffed. I forgot to mention that in the Psychic phase to be tough 5. So my Warriors got a little bit of work cut out from them. However, if they die, that's Oath points gone and the Warriors are free to start busting over this way and capturing objectives over there. So we'll see what happens. So we'll come back after the fighting and see if the Salamanders are getting back into this. Patronic Power happening for me. I'm going to spend a CP, putting me down to 3. He's down to 1 wound. I failed my final save, but we're going to CP it. It's on a 4-up, 50-50 shot. The Harpy lives, and the big thing there is I really just want to keep these guys tied up into my turn. That way I can at least live. Jump away, have these guys. I mean, either way, like, it's engaged points. I can kind of keep him going. So I think that's the move. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. I'd rather just keep him alive. A little bit extra shots coming through, too. Who knows? So, Patronic Dice, Brian, on the Tyranid side. Let's see if he can help out as well. No, Brian. He's just favoring the Salamander. So, Harpy goes down.
Salamanders.
But does he explode? We're going to use the Patronic Dice because this is all... So take that. He explodes, and we're going to do some damage around here. So we'll come back and recap. So that's the end of the turn here. These guys have taken position there. 1 guy had fallen because he was previously injured. Well, no. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. We're all excited. We got some combats to finish up here. Oh, right. We'll be back. So that ends the turn. The Warriors took out the guys right there. Even with the extra toughness, it rolled absurd on my wound rolls. Over this way, the Raveners finally took out their foe there, so regaining control of most of the objectives here in the Tyranid's favor. However, some losses coming in at us, so losing that Hive Tyrant, one of the Raveners and another Ravener weakened, and the Harpy also taken out as well. And the Terminators still yet to return. But now it's time to move into Tyranids. turn 2. So scoring 2 points for Oath for killing a monster and not falling back. However, not wholly within. It's wholly within 6 of that, right?
Yep.
For a fully. Okay, so nothing for Oath yet. Those guys living was a big deal for them.
No, just within 6, I think.
Just within. Okay.
I'll check.
Yeah, I can't remember. Space Marine stuff. And no prisoners as well, so getting one of the Ravagers taken out is points there to start to be collected. So we'll come back in after Tyranid's turn 2. Alright, so turn 2 for the Tyranids. So scoring 2 for the banners that are up. I was going to put up a banner, I'll get over there in a second, but Exocrine staying still, these guys just positioning as well. So along my whole back end, there is nowhere that the Terminators can teleport. So these guys, as I was just about to say, we're going to move up and grab that objective, throw a banner up there. I forgot that though to to stay holding my objective to get my CP, as well as prevent the Terminators from coming in anywhere along here. So very interesting part too with this mission is where I could have left that to go grab that objective, throw up another banner, but I would forgo getting my CP next turn. So kind of interesting there. I do have the Moloch to come up as well. Forgot to bring him up, just kind of moving into here. So he's going to pop up back over there, against the Eradicators. Then these guys as well, moving in such a way that the Terminators can't come down anywhere over here. So I pretty much have the entire board for this section zoned out for the Terminators. So very aggressive movement. The Tyrant jumped up to hold that objective with the Raveners, zooming forward to go for the home objective, as well as these Zoanthropes getting a 5-inch advance, getting them enough to get up here to slam some smites over at these guys as the Warriors continue advancing forward into the Salamander line. So that's it for movement. We're going to come back after Psychic and shooting and see how all right, so that is the end of shooting. So, and the Moloch did come up. I did spend a CP for unexpected incursion, did a single wound to them, then killed off a guy and a half on that side. Exocrine fired in, blew up that. I tried to get Catalyst off with the Swarmlord. I am in with range of the Reliquary of Gathamar. I failed, then spent a CP to re-roll it, and perilled. So then I only thankfully took just 2 wounds. Could have been a lot worse, so gonna count my luck there. And over this way though, the Zoanthropes between Psychic Scream and the Super Smite zapped the suppressors off the table, and then I also killed off 2 guys in this tack squad, and the Warriors in the middle killed off 3 guys from that tack squad as well. So now we got a bunch of charges. Swarmlord moved over this way using his second move, and we're going to charge in there and some Raptors. So sweeping over onto this section of the table. So we'll come back after all the fights. So that ends the turn. So the Warriors came in and diced up the Intercessor. Swarmlord killed off the tack squad, and the Raveners came back, failed to kill off these guys. Salamanders ignoring that -1 is huge, or else I think the Raveners would have they feel like they're not doing as much as they should be for like the bodies and the amount of attacks are there, but ignoring that -1 is a big deal because that was a ton of 3-up saves keeping them alive. So that guy passed morale as well, so staying on his objective and holding that. I couldn't quite get enough movement with the Warriors to grab it just on the other side there, but yeah, so that is it. So the Salamander will still be regenerating his CP on their end. So getting 3 points for engage again for the Tyranids. 2 for the overrun the primary, secondary, and then to the last is still going, and banners as well. Yeah, 2 there. So that's it. We'll move into turn 2 for Salamanders. All right, folks. So all hope is not lost. The Terminator's coming in, hopefully to make the difference here in Salamander's turn 2. So the captain can fit just here. There is no real way to completely get rid of him while protecting my backfield. So he's going to attempt the long charge to make it in and try and wipe out these guys and take my objective. Terminators had a pocket here with Swarmlord leaving and coming this way. I was going to send him up here and completely null out this side, but Swarmlord is worth 5 points, and there's a lot of heavy weaponry there. And board protectors could have did some extra damage between them shooting down upon him, and then these guys as well in combat, or if they overwatch, because the Salamanders do have a fair amount of CP. So that's why the Terminators are here now. And then over this way, the Tac Marines continue to advance forward. Again, this is worth points over on this side. He's got to come forward and then at least deal with the Exocrine, drop some heat over on him. And then the Eradicator's kind of in a tough spot right now with Swarmlord leaving, no prime targets. There is the Raveners and stuff, but it doesn't want to fall back. Every point's going to count at this stage of the game because no primaries gain this turn, so it needs to maximize points as much as possible. All right, so that ends the shooting. So not a bad phase. The Moloch was taken out right down to the last wound from the fire of these two fellows combined. And then over this way, the TAC Marines fired in, took off 2 wounds on the Exocrine. Have him sitting there, but the big story is we got some charges going to go down. The captain is going to attempt a charge in here, and then the Terminators, are they going for these guys?
Yep. 10-inch charge for the Terminators, and then 9-inch for the captain.
Who would you like to go first?
I'm going to do the captain first.
Captain.
Because I'm going to use my rerolls on this guy.
Right, yeah, he's of more value.
Reroll it is.
Yeah, so down to 3 CP.
No.
No. Now for the Terminators is the big one.
10? Nope.
No, so that would have been the redemption. But it's not over yet, so still lots of heavy units on the table. Did the Eradicators want to charge? I assume not. Okay. Then we still have just... the TAC Marines are going to go for the Exocrine, so you roll up there, we'll see. Do we need to measure?
6 inches.
6 inches. We may have to measure that. Looks pretty close. Did they make it? So, yeah. So 6 just made it. And they're in. And then we got a couple... Nah. Because I can't shoot twice. I can only shoot once. I believe it. But yeah, so we're good with that. So we'll come back after the fighting.
No morale.
Yeah, so no morale failed. So and you kill the monsters. So you're getting so the end of the turn here, we're just calculating points. So 4 in total scored for the Salamanders here. Getting 2 for holding an objective on my side. So the overrun, primary, secondary, killing a monster for 1, and then 2 for not failing morale and the monster equals 2. So 4 points scored there. And then over this way, the Exocrine, just recapping the fight, took 2 wounds from the combat, stomped a guy, killed him. The Warriors diced up the Librarian, and the Raveners finished off the guy there with taking 1 wound. And that's it for the turn. So we're going to move into Tyranids turn 3 and see if we can close the jaws here and close this game out. There's still a lot of the heavy stuff. I've killed off all the infantry, but now I've got to deal with the heavy hitting units, which are a bit more of a challenge. So we'll come back after turn 3. All right, so moving on, turn 3 is done. So getting full for primary, so 12 points there for primary objectives. Getting 2 more for banners. Exocrine staying in combat. These guys just moving away from the Terminators to force them to choose to either deal with the threat over there or come forward for them. These Warriors backed up now that the threat of the captain hopefully will be taken care of with the Zoanthropes. These guys moved in advance to grab that objective. Zoanthropes moved in advance just enough to get 1 onto the objective to allow the Tyrant to jump over this way and grab that objective, just kind of slinking around the back, and he's going to be a tough guy to kill. Swarmlord moved over this way, getting within 6 of the Raveners to allow them to move again to jump up top and get better positioned over there to ensure that a charge goes off against the Devastators, and the Warriors move through there. So that's it. We'll come back after the Psychic. All right, so shooting and Psychic is done. So the Zoanthropes absolutely nuked the captain there, doing tons of mortal wounds, so took him out. And then over this way, the Warriors fired in at these 2 Warriors fired at the Terminus, didn't do anything. The Warriors that are in the cover there shot the Eradicators, killing 1 and dropping 1 to 1 wound, and the guys here double moved to get up top on that side, and the Warriors also got Feel No Pain off. Exocrine fired into combat, killed off a guy, and that is it. So we'll move into the fighting. The Warriors are going to charge that guy, then we'll move into the fighting and see. All right, so that ends the turn for Tyranids. So over this way, these guys, nothing happening to one another. Then up here, the Raveners made it up, killed off 2 guys, took 1 wound in return. Warriors killed them off, spent a CP to overrun just to launch this way to force the Terminators to go for them or push towards the middle as they are worth 5 points and just kind of hanging out. And that is it. And then if the Terminators go over there, the Zoanthropes can slink over and slap some mortals with them. So that's the end of the turn for the Tyranids. Getting 3 for engage and having the supply or overrun on the, I don't want to say supply lines, but overrun taking that objective. So that's it. We're going to move into Salamander's turn 3. All right, folks, so we're just going to call the game here. Into Salamander's turn 3, went to get some points, came in here, threw the banner down, killed all but 1 warrior. He was left with 1 wound, I think it was. but just not enough bodies left on the table with the Tyranids still having the Tyrant, Swarmlord, Zoanthropes, and the Warriors up in the corner there. That was it. So first impressions with these new missions. This one, the objective setup was really different. Losing the CP was a big deal. Like I could see pushing that objective is being a bigger priority. And I also found this one really promoted very aggressive play, taking these objectives. You have to move forward. You can't sit back on that. So you have to have a unit that's going to be aggressive and go forward. I think the Tyranid list I had, it played well with this particular mission. Being able to kind of just send the Warriors forward is kind of just a spearhead, and they're very hard to take out. I mean, it's the first mission in, and it's my first impression of it. I think first turn was huge for a mission like this. Being able to take the ground, and where the objectives are so close together. I mean, your deployment's up here, but if you have a fast unit, you can easily get ahead and grab an objective. That's at least my takes on it. We were discussing earlier too. I think the forward deployment is something that definitely on a mission like this, getting that extra slingshot movement, making a charge and getting forward, I think is it's a tough thing to deal with. But overall, I'm very excited to play through the rest of the missions. Have a battle report next week. Hopefully, if all goes as planned, the Iron Hands will be back. Excuse me, to take on the Tyranids here. Very excited for that. Always like playing the Iron Hands. And then the following week, if things go as planned, we'll have a double feature for battle report. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Again, if you're interested in checking out these custom objective markers or getting your own 3D6 Wargaming, so very beautiful objective markers there. You can check out our review on them. And stay tuned for lots more GT 2022 stuff to come through. Now, in terms of the mission itself, for MVPs, I would say for me it would have to be the Warriors. They were just super solid overall. Yeah, it was just, they're super solid. For you, who would you pick?
Probably the Eradicators.
Yeah, they did.
2 monsters.
Yeah, quite handedly too. So they actually got to see some decent action in this game. Usually they get picked on first, but they stuck around. But on a whole, yeah, so it was very interesting. I think the Zoanthropes, seeing them back, and the amount of mortal wound output they can deal, it's tough to handle, especially with yeah, with that Synaptic link. So guaranteed to be slamming down tons of mortals, and with a Crusher Stampede list being so aggressive, maybe Zoanthropes do if they're placing it. But thank you so much everyone for watching. We'll see you in the next video.